All right, we're back. Miles,
Right.
what's up, my
Oh,
friend?
man.
How
Can you
are
hear me
you?
okay?
You loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Wow,
better than the Bitcoin price.
yeah, I mean, I feel like every day this week I've woken up and just felt a bit like, oh gosh. Oh, here we go, man. What do? Transfer some more money and buy some more Bitcoin? Yeah, I guess I have to buy a bit more. Like, I'm sort of buying Bitcoin now to kind of average out my price, you know?
Yes.
So I don't really want to be buying more Bitcoin at the moment because I'm not. I wish I've just got all these things going on.
Yeah.
This time last year, or like just more than a year ago, I had like a really profitable business where I was just buying Bitcoin every month, right? And I sold that business, and I put a load of it into Bitcoin at about $90,000,
Mm.
and so that tranche that I bought is underwater. It's not a lot. Don't kidnap me. It's not worth it. Like, I also run really fast as well, so you don't have to catch me. You don't have to catch me, and but yeah, so dude, it's kind of painful. But I've been buying in the 80s, just like small amounts, but I've not got the same income that I had a year and a half ago. So it's kind of like painful, man. It's painful for me. But it doesn't really change how I feel about the fundamentals of Bitcoin. What about you?
What's the upside of Bitcoin price coming down? Is there one?
I mean, only if you've only found out about Bitcoin in the last year and you've looked at it over 100K and you're thinking you've actually great at timing the market and you've decided you're going to buy in the 70s. That's the only upside, really.
And I mean, if you're dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, then there's something to get excited about, right? The fact that it's on discount right now.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that's about
yeah.
that's about the only way I could think about it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously, I don't know. I'd like to say I'm indifferent almost now towards the Bitcoin price to some extent. Obviously, I get excited when it goes up, but I get equally excited when it comes down. I'm not gonna lie, Miles, just because
Mm.
there's so many times where recently I feel like the Bitcoin price is just getting away from me, where it's like, oh wow, I'll never have as many as I hoped or whatever. But then the price comes down, and you're like, okay, it's the opportunity's not gone. It's early days, and I don't know. And then in my view, I think the price is sometimes maybe the least exciting thing about it, right? I don't know. I mean, Bitcoin, there's always something or another going on, and I don't know. So, what do you think about this 4-year cycle theory being over, or is this kind of, I
Well,
guess, playing right into that narrative, or what
I
do you
think
think?
it's almost on target for the 4-year cycle, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's,
right.
it's, I was ready for a super cycle. I thought actually I can see I didn't fully subscribe to it because I was like, let's just wait and see. But I can see now how the super cycle could have happened, especially with everything that's happened in America, treasury companies here, ETFs, so many things were pointing towards maybe not just I wasn't going for like a bonkers price this year. I was thinking that we're just going to break out of the 4-year cycle, not into a super cycle, but just out of the 4-year cycle. But in the 90s, I still thought, okay, we could still see huge upside. In the 80s, I was thinking, oh, it's going down pretty quick. Now we're in the 70s, low 70s. We could touch the all-time high of the previous cycle. That is the end of the super cycle theory, and we're back into the 4-year cycle. We've got how long to the halving? Like 2 years, 2.5 years, or something to the next halving. So that's kind of normal for Bitcoin. We'll have 2.5 years of down, 6 months of excitement after the halving, and then we're back into the regular pattern.
Just like just like clockwork, yeah. Bitcoin, I guess, is a bit predictable.
March.
Hey, do you know who Jeff Booth is?
Yeah, I love Jeff Booth. He's cool. I actually reread his book. I read his book when it came out, and I didn't get it all, but I reread The Price of Tomorrow a couple of months ago.
Top 2, 3 takeaways. No, I've been hearing about him forever, obviously. I just saw, like, I gave it a full hour and a half. I saw an interview with him and Simon Dixon yesterday.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was like, this guy's just, you can tell he's like, he's just very thoughtful. Feels like he thinks from like this first principles kind of, viewpoint. I don't know. I just really enjoyed his energy, his take on all of it as well. How when you're in that Bitcoin world, like, you're happy, you're there, you're good because you've achieved freedom to some extent. Now, freedom, maybe not in the sense that Bitcoin's 10x or 100x in the last year type of freedom, but from the censorship resistance perspective, from the sovereignty, from running your own nodes, from holding your own keys, and all these other things that make Bitcoin Bitcoin. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd bring
Yeah.
it up. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I really like him. My
Dreaming
main
about
takeaway
it.
from the book this
Yeah.
time round was about deflation, really. And it's also a combination with a guy, a British author here called Dominic Frisby. Combination of two books that I read by this guy, Jeff Booth and Dominic Frisby, was that why is it that, I mean, in the UK, property prices are 69 times higher than they were in 1970. Wages are 23 times higher than they were in 1970. So that doesn't add up. In fact, the only way it adds up is if you have two people earning a wage, gets you closer to 69% increase in property prices. And if you add on a stack more debt. So the third thing you need to trig in there is two people working. A third thing on top is the debt. And then you end up with where house prices are right now. And then he looks at other things like televisions, washing machines, mobile phones, like a whole bunch of other tech stuff where the price has almost gone to zero. Phone calls have almost, the cost of a phone call has almost gone to zero. A washing machine is so cheap now compared to when they first came out. Televisions, I mean, if you buy a television now compared to the one that you would have bought in the 70s, it's that sort of television in the 70s worth nothing now. But you can get, because of the increase in the quality, they've actually come down in price, really. Like televisions and computers and those kind of things have come down in price because you get so much more for your money. So if you're just including watching 5 channels on a crappy TV, they're very cheap. So why is it that some things have gone up so much? And his conclusion is it's debt plus inflation. And really things should be coming down in price. And I don't understand why people are not up in arms and going mental about it, because everything should be cheaper. But because of the introduction of money into the system and the introduction of massive amounts of debt over the last 50 years, everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
And then he kind of leads to Bitcoin, but only in like 2 pages. He's just like, Bitcoin is a solution to this. He's not like a crazy Bitcoin maxi. He's just like, I don't see any of the solution.
Yeah, he just had this calm resolve about his demeanor. It was really powerful. And again, I'd heard about this guy for ages, but I saw an interview with him and Simon. Do you know Simon Dixon as well? He's kind of making the rounds on YouTube. He shows up on my feed all the time. And it was funny because the two of them had different perspectives, in the sense that Jeff Booth is like, Bitcoin's going to essentially take over and the free market will ensure that it does, and it will become kind of the dominant monetary infrastructure or whatever. Whereas Simon is more like, Bitcoin is the solution, it is the answer, but it will almost become such that they, the bad guys and the rest of the world, keep living and doing their thing, and we live in our own little world. But Jeff's like, no, you can't have that. The free market will make it so that the people on the other side of the fence are just being crushed by theft, which is inflation. Right? Hey, so any thoughts on why this is happening? Bitcoin's tumbling from what, 90 last time we talked, 95K now to 75K. Is it the tariff stuff we touched on, the Greenland and all that going on? Or, I mean, it's hard to tell, but
I was trying to dig into some on-chain metric stuff, which I don't really know much about. The only thing I can do is look at what other analysts are saying about on-chain metrics, right? And people who I like in that space. I think I saw this week the only people who are accumulating Bitcoin at scale are people who have over 100 coins. So that was quite interesting that people with large allocations of Bitcoin are buying right now. And then there's people under 10 Bitcoin who are buying a little bit at the moment. Like, that's a tiny bit of accumulation, but it's very hard to measure that because people might be buying it into one exchange wallet and then transferring it to a cold storage, and it's very hard to track that. I just don't know who's selling Bitcoin right now. I mean, are the ETFs offloading masses? That doesn't seem like it should be enough to be able to drop the price this much. I don't know who's selling. I don't know anyone who's selling. All the Telegram groups that I'm in different spaces, no one. I mean, maybe if you're selling, you don't say, but
there were net outflows on the ETFs. I think about $1.6 billion in January. But you know who's not selling? Michael Saylor.
Sailor's buying. Yeah.
Saylor he's a beast. He just
Is he
doesn't
doubling
care.
down? Has he bought this week?
I think his most previous acquisition was what? Oh wait, Matt. What was the number? I forget. But the guy is. I just heard. What was it last week? He picked up more Bitcoin. So
Yeah,
once
like
again,
800 Bitcoin or something.
those who get it really get it, and they're doubling down, and they're seeing this as like
Yeah,
a discount.
yeah. I mean, I was recording, I say, to you an episode for my own podcast this morning, and I kind of was giving myself, speaking to myself about it as well, that if you live in the world where the news headlines dictate how you feel about stuff, and you scroll social media and you let the noise shout at you and control your thinking, you wake up in the morning, you scroll Twitter, you're going to get drawn into the doom vibes of what's going on in Bitcoin. But imagine if you just decided, I'm going to stack in Bitcoin and I'm just going to check out. I don't care. I've decided that I know Bitcoin is going to win. And you just check out of the mainstream media, which on the whole I have, but there's just so much going on in the world that sometimes you want to see what's happening. If you did that and you didn't care, you would probably not even know that everybody's losing their mind on non-crypto Twitter, you know, right now, and on my little WhatsApp groups I'm in, people losing their mind. You would just be stacking Bitcoin. You'd be excited about the price gone down, but your thesis wouldn't have changed. You'd still be saying, I know Bitcoin is valuable. I don't care that the price has gone down. But the only thing that's changed is your mood around it. Like my mood around Bitcoin is like, oh no, it's a bit down. That kind of sucks. Like that's it. There's nothing else which has changed. Still the same number of Bitcoin going to be out there. Still the market, the whole system is still running. People still running nodes. Miners still mining Bitcoin. Will some miners go out of business? Like possibly.
Oh, sorry, man. I was trying to put you on stage there. Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Will some miners go out of business? Maybe, but that is actually kind of part of the Bitcoin ethos as well, because Satoshi didn't want people to get bailed out. There's no one coming in to bail out miners whose electricity is too expensive. I just think this is part of the life cycle, isn't it? Some people come in and win. Some people will sell Bitcoin now in a panic and sell it at a loss. I remember a friend messaging me when I just first started making content around Bitcoin. He said, I'd love to get in, but my friend lost £80,000 in Bitcoin. And I messaged him straight back and said, how did he lose it? Did he lose his keys? Did it get hacked from his account? Was he involved in FTX or like? And he said, no, he just like bought it and it went down. I said, oh, right. So he bought it and it went down and then he sold it. He said, yeah, he ended up with like 40 grand out of this 120 investment. I said, okay, well, I can pretty much map on a chart when he bought and when he sold. So I said, so actually he didn't really, he just chose to sell in a panic and decided he would rather have £40,000 rather than maybe he had 3 or 4 Bitcoin or something like that. So if he'd held till now, he'd be up on wherever he bought. So I wonder what people are thinking. People can drop some comments actually if they got some questions. But the main thing for me is the mood has changed, but nothing else has really changed in Bitcoin.
Sorry, I'm still kind of tinkering a little bit here. But yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Dude, I mean, I've been, as you know, in the space forever. I run a crypto exchange, and I've landed on only one like sound piece of advice that I'm willing to give others and give myself, and kind of not look back, which is dollar cost average into Bitcoin only, self custody, and forget about it. Like that's it. And again, I think that viewpoint is so powerful because, like I said, when the price comes down, you oddly get excited because you're like, oh my God, I like the thesis I've developed over whatever, 12 years, 13 years is still strong. It's not like, oh, Bitcoin security failed yesterday and all of a sudden transactions aren't happening. Oh, Bitcoin's doubled it to now 42 million. None of those fundamental things are changing about Bitcoin. Yet, you know, short-term market sentiment is changing and does change, and it's a function of so many variables. It's hard to pinpoint, you know, what's actually happening versus what's not. But like you said, if the only thing that can really get you down is Twitter or the news, and I don't know, I'm probably getting less good at this, but that does remind me that, you know, it's so dangerous to wake up in the morning and just whip up Twitter. Like I'm doing it
Yeah.
again. And I need to stop because it has like an outsized kind of weight on the rest of your day, right?
Yeah.
Waking up to your goals, to meditation, to the gym, I don't know, whatever it
Yeah.
is, like fresh air or sunlight, is
Yeah.
by far the answer. Yeah.
I've got it. I'm just going to show
Um,
you this, dude. This is my little hack. This is, can you see what that is? It's an iPod Touch.
that's
Do you
like a
remember this?
phone from 20 years ago, or what is
Yeah,
that?
dude. I
Oh
bought it on
shit.
eBay. Yeah, I bought it on
No
eBay
way.
because,
Okay, and it
yeah,
works?
well, yeah, it works. Some apps don't work, but Spotify and the podcast app both work on it, and so
Okay.
do the Notes app, which are the only things I really need. And it's not connect. It only works if it's connected to the internet. And the reason I got that is because in the morning I come down and I would listen to music at the gym or podcast at the gym, and I would see messages on my phone, and I would get into them, or I'd be tempted to. I would get sucked into like social media, right? So now I have this iPod, and what I do is I switch my phone off when I go to bed. Before I go to bed, leave it downstairs, and then I leave my iPod on charge with the podcast or music I'm going to listen to the next day. So then I don't switch my phone on till I get back from the gym, or at least till a little bit of time has passed, and then I can have a look. Because basically, I'm too much of a degen and I can't resist looking at it, so I have to put these hard borders in so that I can try and avoid it. And it makes a big difference to even just what I'm thinking about in the gym. I'm thinking about nothing basically, rather than what the message is. And the other thing is, if I take my phone to the gym, I might send a message in between a set or something, but I can write a note on the iPod and just reply to this person, or add something for this podcast to the document, or whatever it is I think of, which is annoying if you have an idea and you can't write it down. But I that's a big hack, dude. It was like £80 or something, like $100 or something, and it's just worth it for me.
Interesting. Miles, should we switch gears to like our next
Yeah.
section, like
Yeah.
around mindset, productivity? I don't know, doing things. I don't know. You want to touch on that? Any thoughts this
Yeah.
week? I know last week we
Well,
touched on open claw. I don't know if you got a
mate,
chance to like read about
dude,
it,
I
but it
went in
took over
like a
my Twitter feed.
whole
You did? You
dude, I
did?
went a
Tell
whole
me.
rabbit hole. Yeah, dude, I was in a rabbit hole. I was just like seeing what other people are doing with it, and just not really understanding everything, but combined with what you were saying about it last week, it was a lot for me. And yeah, I'm not smart enough to get it going, and I didn't want to. I just was like reading about it quite a bit. But what about? Do you have anything? Because you only just got into it last week, a few days in before the
I don't know
podcast. Is
if I
there any stuff
have a whole lot of new stuff. I mean, I'm definitely tinkering with it. Spidey sense is still going hard. I think the as soon as I started like playing with AI a couple years ago, I had this like instinct to want to have an AI running 24/7 on my behalf. Like that was just like
Mm.
I was like, wait, hold on. We have intelligence in a box. Okay, I have goals. I have yet to hit them. So why wouldn't I have like if you could have an employee or 10 or 1,000 all like working towards your goals, you'd have it. But that's obviously not so easy. But a computer, a machine, hell yeah, like that would be crazy. And that's kind of what I feel like this open cloth thing is getting towards. There's so much debate online, should you use a Mac Mini or an old PC or your existing one or buy a new one or whatever, but the idea is fascinating. And just because like AI has so far been about big companies, right? It's been about ChatGPT. It's been about Microsoft and Apple and Google, and they're all like fighting Claude over one another. But I'm a Bitcoiner. I'm all about like sovereignty and decentralization and empowering like the little guy. And so I
Yeah.
kind of feel like OpenClaw is a step in that direction. It's open source. It's software that lives on your computer. But it's far more like intimately connected to your life because it's integrated into your work system. So still tinkering with it, still early days, not too much to comment, but I'm definitely watching videos, playing with it whenever I can, and I don't know, stay tuned, I guess. Yeah. What else?
Yeah.
What else? I don't know, on the productivity side. I just random question. What do you use on to like manage your to-do list?
I actually did. I'm probably not a great guy to listen to this. I have this. Where is it? Oh, it's downstairs. Oh, I left it downstairs. I basically have a paper book, and it says to do Monday. It has the days printed Monday to Sunday, and it has a little space like bullet points. And I write on paper. I do a lot of stuff on paper, and I have a paper diary. Like, when you started sending me calendar requests, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to get on this Google thing. That's my paper diary, man, and it just gets my brain really sorted. Though I just have just like this, Monday to Sunday. And when me and Bex, when Bex started working again, she has her diary on her like you do. But I know that I'm stuck in the past, but I actually came into the future as soon as it was possible to have a Google account. I was in it like 20 years ago or whatever. I had a Gmail account such a long time ago. And it just frazzles me to have to. I'm always trying to think, how can I use technology to make my life better? But I don't know whether it does make it fully. It has to be an all-round better. I can understand like some of the stuff that we're doing together and some of the calls I'm going to jump on with you guys, and I'm obviously going to have to use Google Cal for that. That's why I've been a bit slow at replying to some of the messages with you and Charles, because I'm like, you guys don't realize I don't do Google Calendar at all, so I'm having to set it all up properly for myself now. So that's kind of why. But then my to-do list, I also just have it on a paper thing, and I just write out the things. And my method is, if it gets, and it has a tear off, so it tears off every week. And my method is, if I don't get it done that week, I don't care. Like, I don't want to add my stuff from last week to this week's to-do list, because I feel like if I don't get it done in the week in the time that I've got, it's obviously not that important, unless it then comes up in a week's time and I think, oh, I should probably do that. But I don't want to keep stacking my to-do list, because some stuff just falls off and I just think, I can't do everything. I'm just going to forget about that thing. I'm not going to do it. It's kind of how I manage my to-do list, man. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think highly of it. As in, at the end of the day, I think it's just about finding systems that work for you. I think there's a tremendous amount of intelligence to just paper and pen, almost like it's part of us or something. Like I find, like, when I write my goals out, or when I write in general, when I do a journaling session, versus like, let's say, typing something in my Roam research or whatever online, there's something different, right? It's like this act of taking this idea in my head, translating it through my body, through my fingers, like, using this like analog mechanism, writing it down. It almost like breathes life into it. So I can definitely see why, you see value in that. And yeah, I am hardcore with the Google Calendar and this and that, but it can get
What about
a
you?
bit much. It can get a bit
How
much.
do you,
Like,
how do you handle your to-do list? You must have some wicked AI thing that schedules it or makes it in
I
order.
discovered, I mean, I use Google Calendar. I was probably one of the first people that I personally knew that started using Calendly. I don't know if you know about Calendly, but
Yeah,
Calendly
no,
was
you probably were. Yeah, you sent me a link.
massive for me. Yeah, Calendly was massive because my pet peeve, like, I've been doing BD, business development, all this kind of stuff, entrepreneurship. And so I have a lot of meetings, but my pet peeve was like the whole back and forth. It's like, oh, let's meet. Oh, talk to my receptionist. And then, oh, well, I'm free on this day. Oh, I'm not free on those days. Oh, and then it's like
Yeah,
getting punted by weeks on end. Oh, that's
yeah,
just, I hate
yeah,
that.
and
So for
time
me,
zones as well.
Calendly,
It creates a
yeah,
time zone
time zones.
reset.
Oh, goodness gracious, time zones.
Yeah,
Calendly solved all of that. I think they just raised some like massive round recently as well. But
yeah. I'm not
yeah,
surprised.
Calendly is in my view, a big productivity hack. Not many people talk about it, but it's just one of those things that's, it's like they say Bitcoin, like when Bitcoin gets boring, that's when we know we've won. Calendly's got that. Like, it's kind of boring. No one talks about it, but
Mm,
it's a big time saver. It really, I don't know.
mm.
For me, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I agree.
Yeah, in terms of calendar stuff, I had this like back and forth with AI about 2 or 3 months ago, where AI was like, dude, you need to chill out with meetings. Like, you need to have less meetings, and you need
Oh
to
yeah,
spend more time like thinking, creating, building, not just like pitching and meeting people all the time. And that got to me, but my life ended up going a completely different direction. Like now I am in, I was telling you the other day, back to back meetings every day, all day, but they are incredibly high quality meetings. And so I kind of like welcome it. And yeah, I'm all for it. I've noticed though that I almost have too many meetings now, like too many awesome meetings that I need to like consciously create space in my week to get like, like follow-ups and all the other kind of like things that you need to get done. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, maybe that just doesn't answer your question at all, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
all over the map. But I do use a Calendly. I do use my Google Calendar, and I adhere to it like religiously. Like if something's on my calendar from my 8 to 5, whatever kind of session, I will show up and I'll be on time. I'm also like notorious for being on time, and I'm kind of like the one rallying the troops. Like, oh, this guy's not on the call. Let me go grab him, bring him in. Oh, this guy hasn't showed up. I'll ping him on WhatsApp. I don't know. I'm more that like that's kind of one of my like strengths, if anything, is like just showing up on time, getting everyone together. But then once everyone starts talking, I'm maybe not the highlight as much. But so money, mindset, meaning.
There's something else in the mindset stuff. I
Yeah.
guess this
Please,
is in the meaning. Like,
I got time.
so,
Yeah.
I think probably from a few weeks ago where I was saying, like, how do you find meaning? And like, you're trying to in this in between stage that I'm in. I'm still in that. I think I'm going to be in it for a while. But last week, remember I said me and Bex, we just got back yesterday from this songwriting thing that we run. And it used to be a camp for 10 people. And we've done songwriting camp for 10 people, maybe 8 or 9. Then we done one for a few more people, maybe like 20 people. But then last week and this week, we did one for 26 people, all young people, like mostly younger than me. But it was wild, dude. Like it's kind of like a major achievement. I think a lot of people in the sort of Christian space would be like, wow, it's so great. You've got all these different people from different denominations, different racial backgrounds, all together for a long weekend. Then literally didn't know each other, a lot of them before they arrived. I didn't know hardly any of them. I just like looked them up on Instagram and say, hey, what's up? Do you want to come write some songs with me? And they're like, who the hell are you? And I say, I wrote this song. And then they've heard of the song. So then that means I can have a bit of credibility to invite people to it. And it went so well. The food was delicious. My wife catered for everybody. The house was a bit kooky, but for such a big place, it's hard to find a big place that's affordable to have 26 people sleep in there. But it went so well and it smashed. Everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was fantastic. And we wrote a couple, I mean, we were at 27 songs, but there are a couple of songs which are outstanding, which I think we should probably record. Right. So I don't want to like, that's not to big myself up at all. It was a great thing that I think most people would think.
Bro, you got 180 million views. You should big yourself up. Like that's insane. I don't think I'm ever gonna meet anyone in my life with that meaning.
But here's the meaning thing, right?
Yeah,
the hedonic treadmill is something that I only found out about this week, because when people ask me, wow, people text me like, wow, it's so great what you've done. Like, how do you feel? I feel nothing. I don't feel anything about it. And someone said, oh, that's like pure hedonic treadmill. So then I looked it up and then got ChatGPT to tell me what it is. And I'll read it to you. The hedonic treadmill is a cycle where you hit one goal, feel good for about 5 minutes, then instantly start chasing the next one. It's why more money, more success, and more status never seem to bring lasting satisfaction. If you're not careful, this is ChatGPT telling me, you can spend your whole life running faster without ever feeling fulfilled. And I was like, that's me. I literally...
That is.
I do one thing that's good. Like I bench press the most I've ever bench pressed, or I invite all these randoms to a songwriting tree and they go from being randoms to friends, and it works. And then I'm like, okay, great. That was cool. Right, what should I do next? I don't even get this, but it's also, tennis players. Who's that tennis player who won 5 Grand Slams just the other day? He's like a really, Alcatraz or something like that he's called. But when he won the first Grand Slam, like he won Wimbledon, I thought I would do that and feel amazing. I spent my whole life trying to win Wimbledon. And he said I felt nothing. And then I decided the reason I feel nothing is because I need to win all 5 Grand Slams, like American Open, US Open, whatever it is, like Australian Open, all together in the same year or whatever. And he did it. And then he's like, felt good on the day, cried a little bit. Next morning, wake up. What's next? I need to win more Grand Slams than anybody else has ever won in the whole world and beat the next tennis. But I thought everybody experiences it, at whatever level of success they are on. And I think I need to fix it, dude. I don't know how to fix it. I don't want to feel like I'm, when I'm thinking about what I do next with my work financially, I'm thinking I used to earn this much as in my old business every year. And now I'm like, right, I only want to get into work if I'm going to earn 5 times as much as I did when I was in that previous job. But then it's like always increasing. Like, what was wrong with how much I was earning before? Is that the only, am I too brainwashed by bro science and productivity podcasts that I can't actually settle with earning the same amount every year for the rest of my life? I don't know. I'm not saying I want to do that. I just feel like I could go back to that old work, start that business again, and I could do it not with my eyes shut, but I know how to do that. But I'm not going to make more money than I did. I reached the ceiling. But with every area of my life, how do we, I don't know if you got the answer, but I'm looking for some wisdom. How do we not hit that hedonic treadmill where you don't feel satisfied because you're ever increasingly adding new goals to yourself? That's a lot.
I would say the short answer, if I had to pick one, is to just be grateful. Maybe the thing that, I don't know, my wife teaches me about Christianity, which I think is forgiveness, is probably maybe even bigger than that, but gratefulness, I think, is the answer. Being grateful is the ultimate mindset hack, in my view. Okay, so I wanted to say something. So this is a little bit of a repetition of what you just said, but there's this like you short or whatever interview making the rounds. I forget the guy's name, but he says you've already hit goals that you told yourself you'd be happy once you hit them, or something like that. Yeah. So yes, like, and I think we touched on this a little bit in our last one as well. Is I'm sure the day you met Bex, you're probably like, oh my God, if I can get married to her, like accomplished, like I'm good, right?
Yeah.
And I know I was the same way. Oh, if I could just find the woman of my dreams, if I could, find a solution to this money problem, so I think that is definitely human nature to feel that way, but I think it can make life a struggle because you're never happy, right? And you're always like, oh shit, I just hit my other goal and I'm still searching for happiness. So a couple of things. So I think number one is, at least, and again, I have no clue, right? I should probably preface every answer with that. But I think being happy and being grateful for what I have today is kind of like step one. So, we want to move into a new house. But then I try, and that, I want to move into a new house would sometimes be followed by a thought of, I hate my current house. But that doesn't help, right? Because then you're always like trying to move away from something and move towards something. So I do feel like just being like, look, I have a roof over my head. It's like the house is amazing. It's like it does kind of provide, and we're super happy in it. And I think starting there is probably a nice level set. But then the next step to this, because I know there are a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm grateful for what I have today, but I have a vision. Like, I do want 5 times more than what I made. Like, I won't die if I don't make it, but it'd be nice. Like, I'm living in a simulation anyways. Let's play with it and let's see if I can get to that.
Yeah.
So I think bringing a bit of lightness to that vision is probably a good idea. But then, and here's the real hack. And again, I just want to preface this by saying, like, I'm not 100% sure about anything I'm saying. These are just like things I've read, things I'm experimenting with, things I do believe in, is that we also have this like unique ability to close our eyes and envision what that lifestyle would feel like. Like, you want to make 5x more than before only because you believe it will give you a certain feeling. And what I didn't know before is that you can actually close your eyes and use the power of your will and, the force of your mind to actually feel what you will feel once you achieve that goal. Now, the truth is if you're making 5x, even if it's for that 15 minutes, there's some feeling you're going for. Maybe it's abundance, maybe it's freedom, maybe it's, I don't know, whatever. It's something, there's something there. But the truth is you can, again, close your eyes, put yourself in that future moment and feel what you'll feel once you achieve that. And I believe therein lies the secret to unlock that 5x. Because if you're like, I need to get to 5x more, I need to get 5x more, the signal you're sending the universe is, I need, or I'm chasing, I'm running, and I love running after things.
Yeah.
And the universe is like, dude, you like running? I will give you shit to run after. Like, for the rest of your life, I will give you shit to run after, because it just delivers. Whatever you ask it, the universe delivers. And I think that when we just constantly are chasing, that's all we get is the chase. We don't actually get the 5x or the outcome. So part of it, as part of my, like I said, the last 2 years, I've been touching on in my live streams. I've been doing all this work, and I'm not perfect at it, right? Like, I do fall off the horse. Like last week, I went with my buddies to Montreal, and my whole time, everything got messed up, and I haven't been waking up super early. So I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh shit, this guy's got it all figured out. But this is stuff that I'm intellectually battling with, and I do see hope. I see a way through this feeling of like not enough, and oh, I just accomplished, but I'm on to the next. And I think that the thing is again, whatever that feeling is you're running after, give it to yourself now. Like, again, abundance, love, whatever, freedom. You can literally close your eyes, and the more you give it to yourself, when you open your eyes, you're like, oh, I am, not I need to become, right? And when you are, it's very different from I need to become. And when you are, you no longer chase, you attract. And it's like, bro, all the spiritual text, all the science, all the stuff I'm reading about quantum and the nature of the universe is such that it will deliver, right? So, and our brains are also just like these Q&A, like question and answer machines. They're just all constantly like just asking, oh, what's this? What's that? Oh, so just
so what's an example of how to like visualize the thing rather than the journey, the running towards the thing?
Well, I think the first thing is to have a vision, right? Let's say you've hit your target and you're $5 million net worth and you're trying to get to 25. There's maybe something in your mind that's like, hey, but so first step is to have a clear vision, right? What is that house, that car, that thing that you think will make you feel, the way that you're trying to get to? And so I think that's the first mistake is that people don't even have that. They're like, I just want more. Well, I just want more is a very vague, wishy-washy statement that the universe just can't process. So being clear in terms of this is the net worth I'm going after. This is the cash flow that's going to make me feel abundant. And the truth is once you get to that cash flow, you'll be looking at other people being like, oh my God, like I'm broke still type of thing, right? You'll never get there. But again, and I do try and set my goals high, like not just like, oh, I want to be 10% better, but I do make them like, I want to be 10x better. Why? Because my thinking around that is that if I, or when I achieve those goals, there will be no doubt in my mind that I achieve those goals, and I achieve those goals due to the systems I put in place, due to the, like the worldviews I adopted, due to the habits I cultivated, right? And due to the businesses I built. But it's not happenstance. It wasn't just like, oh, I just fell into it. Like I want to disqualify that. And the only way I feel like I can do that is if I set my goals almost like ridiculously high, right? Like to the point where anybody, if I told them, they'd look at me and be like, good luck with that, buddy. I don't know if that resonates. I feel like I'm
well, I wonder what you think about this, because I actually wrote this in our notes that and I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree with this, but it's a Charlie Munger quote at the top. Charlie's the sort of partner of Berkshire Hathaway. He's died now, but he says the first rule of a happy life is low expectations. If you have unrealistic expectations, you're going to be miserable your whole life. I mean, what do you think about that? It's kind of like, and this is a guy who's like one of the richest people in the world, right? Who's saying that, but there's got to be something in between those two things, which actually, because if you have too low expectations, you're not going to feel any sense of, if you just think, oh, all I want to do is work in like dollar store and just make minimum wage, I swear that doesn't, there has to be some expansion. Like the universe is expanding the whole time. Like my understanding of how it's all worked, or the latest scientific understanding, is that it started as a pop and it just expanded. And that would kind of go with my sort of Christian theology as well, that God's kingdom only knows expansion. Like he's not kicking people out of heaven. He's actually allowing more people in the whole time. There's more love, there's more acceptance and more forgiveness. Like that would be my understanding of the theology that I subscribe to as well, that it sort of ties in with the universe. So to have low expectations and smallness of mind, I don't know how Charlie Munger's saying this. What do you think?
I can't maybe articulate it, but I feel like this kind of speaks to what we were just talking about, right? Because when you have these very high expectations, like I need to 5x what I was making before, or even in my case, I need to whatever get to these crazy goals, it just automatically, instinctually creates this lack, this like, I don't have enough. And again, that feeling is what propagates throughout the universe, right? It's like, oh, I don't have enough. I need more. I need more. And again, the universe is going to be like, all right, you need more, buddy. Just here, I'll keep giving you more need, but you won't get the more. You'll just have more need. So I guess by just being like, look, I'm good. Like I got a car out front. I got a family that loves me. I'm not dying. I'm not in a hospital bed. I got friends. I'm live streaming. Like maybe life is freaking okay, you know? And just building from that place of like, I'm good, you know, instead of like lack, I think is kind of the, you know, the missing link. And, you know, and this, everything I'm sharing, I almost like say these things and a part of me is almost in like disbelief, because I am an electrical engineer. Like I am an entrepreneur. I am a logical thinker. My dad is like the most logical guy you've ever met. Right. And so when I talk about some of these like esoteric things and spirituality and quantum and, you know, it's like, who am I? But no, it's like, there's so much truth to that. And, you know, it's like nuanced and it's hard to like, you know, just pinpoint exactly like how to achieve your goals. But I love it. I love it. There's two more, I guess, like unlocks that I had. I think I shared them with you. One, and they're both from this book called Reality Transurfing. One is this idea of just removing importance from your goals, which I was just like, say what? Like, what do you mean? How can I remove importance from my goals? And how is that going to help me achieve my goals? But bro, does it ever? So again, having a clear vision of where you're going is paramount. But then obsessing over it and like being like, if I don't hit it, what does that mean? Is self-sabotaging. So almost just letting go of it, being like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, all good in the hood, is again part of the universal like sauce, right? And then that's the other thing in the book, and these are like, they're like separate points and topics, but these are the two, my big two takeaways, is this idea of like pendulums. And I think you and I kind of touched on this when we talked about waking up in the morning and going into Twitter or turning on the news, like, you know, so many of our parents do first thing all day. But like pendulums are these energy bodies. It could be your family, it could be your company, it could be a Facebook group, it could be that WhatsApp group, it could be a church, right? But they're just these energy bodies of like people that are doing a certain thing and moving in a certain direction. And all pendulums are essentially removing energy and taking energy from you, even the good ones, right? And so being very aware that these pendulums are all over the place. But at the end of the day, it's about you and you reaching into the ether and to the whatever, talking to God, meditating, and finding your own kind of wisdom and carving out your own path is a big part of, I think, this like reality that we live in. I don't know. I feel like I'm
I love that.
going off on tangents, but some of these things, they're so like hard to articulate, but I love talking about them because it, more than anything, it reinforces for me that, you know, like, Sonny, what are you doing? You haven't done your morning routine in a week and you're lecturing, you know, 24 people about it.
I love that. I love what you're saying about Yeah,
Yeah.
you see my website, it's like 5 a.m. energy is like the quote on the top of my website. But then if I
Nice.
don't get up at 5 a.m., I'm thinking, oh no, I hope someone finds out I slept in today.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So it's good. It's a journey, and yeah, I don't know. I'm also brutal, dude, at like just beating myself up in my mind.
mm,
Just like when I didn't get an A, it's like you're an idiot.
mm,
Like how could you not
mm,
get an A? Like all the way from like or whatever. If I can't hit a goal, or I didn't raise enough capital for my business, and it's like these cyclical loops you get stuck in, and they are not they're not self-serving. They can be
mm,
very damaging, and it's important to recognize failure and learn your lessons, but to just dwell in it, it's like, yeah, man, the
yeah,
mind is like, it can be like a prison, if you don't like realize that you are not your thoughts. You are like the
yeah.
one who essentially watches
But
your
if you,
thoughts.
on the other end, if you never achieve anything, you never do anything. Like at the moment in my life, I'm feeling like I rate myself. I've got a lot of confidence, but that's based on having done some okay things, And I don't think I'm a top 1%, 0.1%er, but I'm an okay guy. My children are nice, and I've made some money, made some good choices. Some people like me. Pretty sure some people will show up at my funeral right now. But if I don't do anything else, if I don't continue to make progress, then I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, I can imagine that you just start feeling like, what do I do? What do I add to the world? So then, if you have no goals and you don't place enough importance on them, maybe you would start feeling like, I don't know if I do rate myself. Like, you could start going backwards in your confidence. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
balance, isn't it? It's all a balance, basically, is what
And
we're
by the way,
saying.
I do think having a clear goal is a big part of the unlock. Um,
Mm,
Having some goal, and it's not enough to be like, I want more or whatever, or being vague about it. Not enough being, oh, I want a mansion. You got to be like, which house exactly? And to also let go of that feeling of like, if I don't get it tomorrow, it's gonna be okay. Again,
yeah.
dude, the universe is so paradoxical. It's so, you know what I mean? Like it's like yin and the yang. It's like yes and no at the same time. Like it's so hard to just be like, this is how you do it. But yeah, but I do think having a goal is a part of it, but then not being attached to it is also a part of it. If that makes sense.
Mm, mm. Dude, that's good. We should probably get ready to
Yeah.
wrap up. But bro,
All
I
right,
love that
buddy.
chat.
Yeah, man, this is good as
Gives me
usual.
inspiration
And
for the rest
and
of the week.
Miles, you were kind of the one, I guess, that got me to do live streaming, and now I'm live streaming every day.
Oh, really?
So, bro, like you have a positive ripple effect on me
Oh,
and
oh,
on
that's
the
kind, mate.
world, and so just keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, like I'm now doing daily live streams. I'm crushing on all these like vectors that I honestly didn't think I would reach like so quickly. But a lot of that
Yeah.
was a catalyst, was because Miles and Sunny were going to do this thing every Thursday. We just decided, with no like monetary like output. We just said, hey, we're two guys. We like talking. We think there's some important topics to dissect, and here we are.
Mm.
We're doing it, and there's like 24 people watching, which is not bad,
Yeah.
but if we
Yeah,
keep
cool.
doing this every week, maybe it'll be a couple hundred and a couple thousand. And yeah, man, so I'm really pumped,
Yeah.
Miles. So let's keep this going,
Love
and
it,
thank
bro.
you all for tuning in. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
See you next
Yeah,
week, bro.
until next time, cheers.